Welcome back for part 2 of these terms. This next term, when I was in high school, I was told to pronounce it one way. And even through my undergraduate college years, I was told to pronounce it one way. And then when I got into forensic medicine, I had a professor who told me, "You're saying that word wrong." So I'm going to go with Dr. Burnett's pronunciation. If any of my older teachers are watching, I apologize, but I have to go with the pronunciation that I believe is the correct one. And this is the pronunciation. Eukaryote. Eukaryote. When I was younger, I was told that is eukaryote. And Dr. Burnett, whom I have much respect for, just said, "No, ma'am, that is incorrect. It is eukaryote." So I'm going to go with that pronunciation. Anyway, a eukaryote is a type of cell, with a nucleus and organelles. So a eukaryote is a cell that has that nucleus and the organelles. So let me flip over here. Let's look at this one. You see the nucleus and you see all these organelles. This is a eukaryote. You can look at the cell and tell that it is eukaryotic. This one, how about this one? Do you see a nucleus? Yes, right there's the nucleus. Here are those chloroplasts. There's a Golgi. We haven't defined Golgi yet, but the vacuole, that is an organelle. So would you say that this is a eukaryote? Yes, it has a nucleus and those little organs in there. This is a plant cell. We're going to look at those in just a minute and talk about what they mean, what all these pieces are. So then let's go back to this fella. Do you see a nucleus? No. There's a nucleoid, but that is not a nucleus. So this picture, this is a bacteria cell. This is not a eukaryote. There is another name for this one, and we'll get to that one in the next video, probably, the rate I'm going. Okay, so let's go back. A eukaryote is a cell with a nucleus and organelles. So what is the Golgi apparatus? That sounds incredibly complicated. It is Golgi, the Golgi apparatus. This is an organelle. It's one of those little structures in the cell that's job is to package. So it's an organelle that packages and sorts molecules to transport through the cell. So the Golgi apparatus packs all this stuff up and it sends it out on the ER. Remember our little highway that travels through the cell. It allows that stuff to move around. Those molecules that we need for life. So the Golgi apparatus is a packaging plant, and it also does the shipping. A mitochondrion. Let me sound this one out for you. Mitochondrion. This is singular. Most always you will see it without the N, mitochondria. But if you see one of them, it's a mitochondrion. This is one of our organelles, one of those little structures in the cell, and it has a specific job. It is an organelle that provides energy to the cell. It's a powerhouse. And it does that by converting food to a chemical called ATP, which is energy. We won't get into the details of that. If you know that the mitochondrion is the powerhouse of the cell, this is like in our neighborhood, the electric plant, where the power comes from for survival. So the mitochondrion provides the energy. Okay, the nucleus. This is probably the one that most people think of. If you say name a part of a cell, they're probably going to think of the nucleus. The nucleus is like the cell's brain. It is the control center of the cell. And I shouldn't say any cell, because remember, it's not just every cell that has a nucleus. It is only the eukaryotes that have a nucleus. I still want to call it eukaryote because that's what I was told. The control center of a eukaryote cell. This is where you will find the DNA. When I was working on my degree in forensic science, we wanted to find cells as evidence with nuclei, because the nucleus is where that DNA is housed, and that is the thing that can identify people. My DNA and your DNA are not the same. The only time that DNA will be the same is when you have identical twins. When those twins form from one egg cell, they're monozygotic twins, they're born from one egg, they will have identical DNA. The only way to tell them apart, can you think of it? What would be the only way to tell them apart? It would be fingerprints. That would be the only way to distinguish one from the other, because their DNA would be identical. But everyone else has different DNA. Even your close siblings, your mom and dad, you have similarities, but it's not identical. Okay, this video is lagging a little bit, so I'm going to stop it before I go on to the next page, but I will see you soon.